بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. So my dear respected brothers, elders, beloved mothers and sisters, the question for today is, how should we behave with one another as Muslims? How should we interact with one another as Muslims? That is the question that we need to ask ourselves, and we need to get the answer for that. Every human being, they desire respect, right? Everybody desires love, muhabba, izzah, some form of respect for themselves. But a lot of times, or most of the times, we desire respect, but we don't give out that same respect to others, right? We'll desire that someone give us a lot of respect, but then when it comes our turn to give the other person respect, we don't. And one example of that is, I went to visit one of my friends that I hadn't seen for a while, and naturally I was talking to him and I was asking him, how is your family? How's your brother? How's everybody doing? And he told me, he said, everything is fine. My brother is okay, he's doing okay, he's married, he has kids, he's living a good life. Only one thing is that he's not on speaking terms with my mother, right? He's not speaking to my mother. And naturally, us being Muslim, what came to my mind was that, oh, this is a big issue. He's not speaking to his mother. Mother is like, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the rights come for your parents. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about that in the Quran as well. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, right? Be good to your parents, right? And many other things. فَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفْ. Do not even say something that can cause any type of pain to them. Uf meaning, the ulama drive out of that any type of pain to your parents. So naturally I was kind of confused. I was like, wow, this is a big issue. So I asked him, I said, why is your brother not speaking to your mother? And he said that my whole life I've seen my mother. Since I was young, I grew up seeing my mother, and she complained her whole life about how her mother-in-law treated her, right? And that is a different topic in itself, how mother-in-laws treat their daughter-in-laws, especially from our culture. Anyhow, he said she complained her whole life about how her mother-in-law treated her, my mother did. And now that I'm married, I have a wife, I have kids, and now she's doing the same thing to my wife. Allah. So she desired respect for herself. She complained her whole life about getting respect. But then when it came the turn for her to give the respect out, and she was in that position to give the respect to her daughter-in-law, she didn't do that. I'm not saying the son is right to not speak to her. He should still speak to her. But just speaking about the respect that we desire and then the respect that we give out, right? There's two different things. As a Muslim, as a general rule, as a human being in general, what we desire for ourselves, we should also do that for the others. We should also do that for the others, or we shouldn't think and hope that, hey, we deserve this respect. That's just one example. So the question is, again, how should we deal with our Muslim brothers and sisters? How should we behave with our Muslim brothers and sisters? And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as we know, he left behind such a legacy, such a life, that any question that we try to find the answer to, we can find it in the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Any question. And this question of how we should behave with our Muslim brothers and sisters isn't any exception. We could find the answer in the ahadith, in the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the life of the Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, al-mu'minu mir'atul mu'min. Mir'atul mu'min. That the believer is a mirror to another believer, to his believer brother, right? A believer is a mirror to his Muslim brother. And the Prophet ﷺ was gifted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a gift, something called Jawami'ul Kalim, right? He would say something small and it would have great meaning to it. It would have a magnitude of meanings to it, right? And this hadith is no exception. If we analyze it, and that we can see in the books of the ahadith that we study, in the sayings of the Prophet ﷺ, one hadith, the ulama write pages on one hadith, right? And what the Prophet ﷺ meant by this, and the deeper meanings of each word that the Prophet ﷺ said. And this hadith also has a deeper meaning. And it gives us the answer on how we should behave with one another, how we should act with one another as Muslims. That a Muslim is a mirror to another Muslim, right? Now, let's analyze that a little bit. A mirror, what is a mirror? If you look into a mirror, right, it's such a tool that there is no other tool like that, right? If we look in the mirror, it can show us that which we cannot see without a mirror. I cannot see my face without a mirror. I cannot see my body standing up like this without a mirror, right? I can't see myself like that. But a mirror helps with that. Sometimes when you go get a haircut, right, you can't see the back of your head, how he cut your back of your head, but he gives you a mirror that he puts in the front, right? And then you can see in the back of your head. So a mirror helps you with that. This is one of the points that the Prophet ﷺ was telling us. That a mu'min sees in his Muslim brother that which he cannot see in himself, right? That which he cannot see in himself. So this is one point. Another point, a mirror only shows that which is apparent. It cannot go inside. It shows the zahir, the apparent view that it sees, right? And just like that, a Muslim, he should only judge off of the apparent. I can give you one example. If a Muslim brother is giving charity in front of me, I have no right to judge his intention, right? I have no right to say that, oh, he's showing off. Oh, he's doing this to show other people. He's not sincere. That is not up to us. A mirror only judges what it sees in front of it. The zahir is that he is doing a good act. He is giving charity. We leave it at that. Second point, that a Muslim only judges the apparent, right? Third point, the mirror shows precisely what it sees. It doesn't exaggerate or hide anything. It doesn't exaggerate or hide anything. If I look in the mirror and I have something on my clothing here, right? I have a stain here. It's not going to go and put it on this side or make it bigger than it is. It's going to show where it is, that's where it's going to be. If I have a scar here on my cheek, it's not going to put the scar on this side of my cheek. It will show you exactly where it is. And that's how a Muslim should behave with another Muslim, right? We shouldn't overpraise them and tell other people something that they are not. And if something I dislike in my brother, I shouldn't exaggerate his faults and make him look worse than he is, right? This is the beauty of the Prophet ﷺ's kalam, is that he would give us something small, but it would have such great meaning. So being a mirror to a Muslim brother is such a great thing. It's such a great thing that we analyze it, and these things we derive out of being a mirror to another Muslim brother. Fourth point is that a mirror, when I go in front of the mirror, right? The mirror, once I leave, my image is gone. My image is gone. The next person that comes in front of the mirror, that mirror is not going to show my image to that person and say, look at this person, this is how he was. No. Once I leave, my image is gone. Just like that, a Muslim, a believer, when he sees his Muslim in front of him, he sees his faults or he sees anything or he talks to him, he shouldn't go and just talk to other people about his Muslim brother. This is the beauty of the Prophet ﷺ's kalam. This is the beauty. These are the things, just one small hadith. Al-mu'minu mir'atul mu'min. A mu'min is a mirror to another mu'min. A believer is a mirror to another believer. As we know that a mirror is such a tool, that it's a tool of beautification, right? When a person goes to get married, when a bride goes to get married, when a groom goes to get married, they look in the mirror, they make sure everything is good. Their clothes are ironed, their hat is fitting properly, the bride is checking herself out, making sure everything is good. A tool of beautification. And that is what a mirror is. And that is what a mu'min should be for another mu'min. A tool of beautification. A tool of beautification. We should beautify our Muslim brothers. Something that they cannot see, we should correct them. We should correct them. That being said, we shouldn't go to our Muslim brothers and point out faults. Hey, this is wrong in you, that is wrong in you. That is not the way taught to us by the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in. That is not the way. The way we deal with our Muslim brothers and sisters is with hikmah, wisdom. And one example I can show you is, we can go to the lives of the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in, And we can see in their lives, they embodied the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And whatever the Prophet ﷺ said, they took it to heart. They took it to heart. And they lived by what the Prophet ﷺ said. That is why they were the most successful. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was pleased with them. Because they embodied it. And one example of this hadith, the embodiment of this hadith, is the grandsons of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Hassan and Hussein radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma. An elderly man came to Medina, came to their city. And they saw him. He was performing, it was time for salah. So he started performing wudu. And they noticed that his wudu wasn't correct. His ablution was not correct. Instead of being like us, telling him, hey, you're doing this wrong, and insulting the old elderly man, they didn't want to insult the elderly man because they knew out of respect, he's an elder, right? And that's not how a Muslim deals with another Muslim. So they spoke amongst each other. And they said, how should we convey the message to our elderly uncle here that your wudu is not proper? So what they decided was that they will go to this uncle and they'll tell him that we can't decide who is doing proper wudu amongst ourselves. So can you tell us, uncle, can you tell us who is doing the proper wudu? Who is doing proper wudu? So they both started doing wudu in front of him. And they were the grandkids of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They were the grandkids of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So what type of wudu would that have been? So they did wudu and the elderly man understood. They didn't insult him, they respected him, they raised him. They didn't insult the uncle, and he understood. He said, your guys' wudu is proper, my wudu was wrong. My wudu was wrong. And so he understood. This is the way we explain to our brothers and sisters. This is the way we deal with our brothers and sisters. So in short, in the end, in conclusion, for our brothers and sisters, we should be that mirror of beautification. And the way that we do it, if we desire respect for ourselves, give out respect to your own brothers and sisters as well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to act upon what we have heard, enable us to be like the Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in, wa akhiru da'wana, and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.